Hi, and welcome to MUFC MPB YouTube. I'm your host, Ash Meppers. Today, the day after the Galatasaray shocking defeat, we've heard news that Erik ten Hag has been backed. I'll be bringing you more on that throughout the rest of the show, along with discussion on Onana, McTominay and Maguire looking to be leaving, as a few other things. But first things first, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribed if you've not already. It always helps for the algorithm, and it helps us move the show forward. And if you've got any opinions on yesterday's fallout, what we need to be doing moving forward, are you Ten Hag in? Are you Ten Hag out? Are we dancing all about? What's going on at Old Trafford? The Galatasaray fans are swarming the home section. It's been an absolute manic and madness of the last 24 hours. So let us know your opinions. Get yourself heard in the chat and get yourself welcomed in. Welcome in, boys. Happy Wednesday. We are on Wednesday, aren't we? Yeah. I was at the game yesterday. It was, you know what? I was excited. I went into the game hopeful, believing that, I actually believed and made the prediction that Haaland would get a hat-trick yesterday. I wasn't too far off. I mean, I thought we played excellently. I thought we were fantastic in spells. But again, it's just our defence letting us down, as has been the case over the past couple of weeks, and if not all season. Lindelof's has got to go. I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of. He's been here 5-6 years now, and the man's never shown at any point for him to show that he's got the defensive acumen to be able to be a Manchester United defender. So we'll see how that progresses in the future, and whether Harry Maguire or Johnny Evans comes back into the fold. I'd love to see Johnny back in. I mean, you look at him against Burnley; it was fantastic. I don't really understand why he would have been taken out of the thoughts of Erik ten Hag over the last couple of days or weeks. I don't know, maybe a signal to the board to say, look, we still need new signings, but he keeps persisting with Victor Lindelof, and that's where we're at right now. So we're going to have to see him make do. But according to TalkSport and I believe TalkSport and Jamie Jackson, Erik ten Hag's job as Manchester United manager is safe despite their poor start to the season. How's it going, Pika Chad? Hello, Ash, and everyone else. That home fan section drama is an absolute disaster. Højlund technically did get a hat-trick, lol. Yeah, I mean, he was slightly offside. He was slightly offside with it. I think it would have been the second goal, would it? Yeah, that was right in front of us, and instantly I thought it was offside, and everyone's screaming and jumping up around me. And it's one of those where, you've got no big screens, you're not able to tell, you've just got a gut feeling. You instantly look to the linesman, you look to the man with the flag, and you think, is he going to raise that flag? What's he going to do with it? And it was unfortunate that he did raise the flag. But what I did like to see, if you've not already seen it, is the what we did already see is the Champions League. The Champions League way of dealing with the VAR, the automatic system, which works much better than the Premier League system, and something that should be implemented in the Premier League. There's been a big fallout with the Spurs and Liverpool game over the past 24 hours. If you've not seen the footage and listened to the audio, I'd definitely make sure you do. It's interesting to hear how they operate and how they work in the VAR system, and basically just down to human error. Which will always be the case as long as you include the human input. The more we get things automated, the more times we use AI and AI systems, the better things will become. You've seen that with the World Cup offsides. You've seen that with the Champions League offsides. And yesterday, Højlund was offside in his goal. He a nice touch, turned his man, and then near post finish. I thought it was a beautiful goal, and he looked fantastic for all intents and purposes yesterday. He is starting to kind of blossom into his role as a Manchester United striker, which always would be the case. I mean, when you consider that he never had a pre-season, I believe he played one pre-season game. Atlanta beat, I can't remember, was it Bergamo? Not Bergamo, that is Atalanta's name. Atalanta beat a team 10-0, and he only got one goal or an assist in the game. And I remember a lot of United fans at the time, we were all like, they've scored 10 goals and he can't get on the score sheet. It really wasn't good enough. So yeah, it's interesting to see where we're at. Ronnie says Højlund's second goal was like a freight train coming at you. Absolutely fantastic, weren't it, Ronnie? You know, just seeing him running with the ball, and it makes you think. I don't know what you boys think, but it makes me think, well, maybe we should be looking to play on the counter. I know Erik ten Hag's got his system and, what he wants to implement with turning the fullbacks inverted and going with a back three with 4 attacking players kind of pushing and penning in the opposition. But what I'd like to see is that maybe while we're struggling and while we have got a few issues, maybe go to the counter-attack. You see how much pace we have got on the break. You see with Garnacho, you see with Højlund, you see with Marcus Rashford. I mean, the first goal where Rashford crosses the ball in across the goal, that essentially is a counter-attacking goal. One ball out from Casemiro, out to the right-hand side with Rashford. Something which I've been an advocate on the stream, on this show now for the past couple of weeks and months. Stick Rashford on the right-hand side, put Garnacho on the left, Rashford on the right-hand side with a right-footed delivery inside. It's going to create havoc in the middle, and it's going to get Højlund goals. He needs service. We've seen yesterday, you give the kid service, he's going to score his goals. He's going to get those numbers. And then the second goal as well, you saw one kind of mishap with the Galatasaray defence. Slips Højlund through from the halfway line. Halfway line. You see that the speed, the pace, the control, the power, the strength that he's got to go and finish and kind of take that ball into the 18-yard box, face up the goalkeeper, and then just dink the ball over the top. Like I said, I'd be okay with seeing that for the next couple of weeks until we get a few players back, if need be. Because you look at Amrabat, and Amrabat's, as great as he is as a left-back, as great as he is as a midfielder, he isn't a left-back. He's played... Up until at Manchester United, he played something like 3 or 4 games in his entirety of his professional career as a left-back. I mean, you can see that he's not got the legs for that kind of position and that kind of the role that Erik ten Hag wants from him. So maybe sitting a little bit deeper, maybe having 2 number 6s. You saw Hannibal yesterday. It was fantastic. I thought, what a game from Hannibal. I'm not too sure. I've not checked today why he was taken off at half time, but I remember in my matchday vlog, which my matchday vlog's up, you can go watch Ash Meppers on YouTube, my Galatasaray matchday vlog. I said at half time, he had a fantastic performance in the first half. You look at the performances yesterday, and people complain about Erik ten Hag signings, and I think the best performance yesterday was from Højlund. Amrabat, not great, but Mason Mount was fantastic yesterday, I thought. And Hannibal Mejbri being brought in. I would have liked to see Hannibal Mejbri against Crystal Palace as well. You look at his power, his pace, his tenacity, his will, his drive. I mean, it's contagious when he's on the football field and the players in and around him, they see his will and his drive and his desire to get on the ball. It's infectious. It's infectious. And you see that the players in and around him try a little bit harder. No offence to Eriksen. And Eriksen didn't have a bad second half yesterday. I don't believe he had a poor second half. But when you see players like Eriksen on the field, when you see that lack of energy and creative force in the midfield, it kind of... like I said, it's infectious. It's contagious almost. I was going, Zane, his job shouldn't be safe. Erik ten Hag's job shouldn't be safe. Well, I mean, Zane, I believe you are an Arsenal fan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in Arteta's second season for Arsenal, didn't he lose something like 8 out of his first 15, 20 games? So, Erik ten Hag's pretty much trending in the same kind of lanes as Arteta was in his second season. So, Erik ten Hag, you've seen with... Put it this way. You've got to ask yourself the question, are we playing terribly? I don't think we're playing terribly. I think we're controlling the ball. At the moment, it's just defensively. Defensively, it's been poor. It's been weak. You look at the weekend against Crystal Palace. We dominated the possession. We dominated the control. They had 2-3 chances and they went and scored. Onana's not been helping with his kind of struggle with form, struggle with any kind of like just presence in the box. But that could also be laid at the idea and the thought of, well, he's not had a solid back four in front of him yet. You look at Casemiro, he started the season pretty poorly. So when you look at it, for me personally, you look at it on an individual basis, and I'm not looking at the system. People talk about, they can't see a system or they don't know what Ten Hag wants to implement and wants to do. If you can't see what Ten Hag wants to do, then you need to look a little bit deeper and look a little bit further, because it's fairly simple what his plans are and what he wants to do. You know, he plays with the inverted left fullback. He wants to create the boxes in the midfield. He wants to draw players in when in possession. Like when Onana's got the ball and he holds onto it for a second, he's trying to draw players in to create space in behind, which causes a quick transition. Then alternatively, he's got the long ball where he puts the ball on the opponent's toes and then puts the pressure in their half, and then we go with a heavy press. We activate the heavy press. So we've got like a multitude of tactics and kind of phases of the game and phases of play that he's trying to implement. But right now, the players, I mean, you've seen with poor passing, poor decision making from Marcus Rashford in the final third, lack of service. You're seeing with Bruno's having a little bit off spell, and like I said, mainly down to individual performances at the moment. So, which coming off the back of a year where all these players played some of the most minutes in European football. You look at Bruno Fernandes; he played almost more minutes than any footballer in Europe last season, excluding the goalkeepers. And when you consider that, or you look to other seasons and other clubs when they've gone to those kind of deep into multiple competitions, you see time and time after again, the season after is always a season where the players are lagging, the players are struggling. And this is just a situation where Erik ten Hag, okay, we should be doing better, we should be playing better. You can look to some of the injuries, you can look to potentially him struggling to motivate his players. We're scoring the goals, we're just switching off after we score a goal. Within 5 minutes we're conceding, and it's little things like that need to be picked up and need to be like focused on. So I've got all faith and all hope in the man. I really believe that he can turn it around, and I don't want to lay the blame again at a manager, because you see tactically, he understands what he's doing. You see motivationally, he's been able to get the players in the past motivated and up for games and in special moments. You look at our home form last season, only losing one game. Like I said, this season's been a little bit ropey, but again, implementing new players, implementing a new style, a new system off the back of last season losing De Gea. Things are going to be a little bit tough and a little bit ropey for the time being, but I've got a feeling at some point soon it's going to start to click, and I feel like we need Wan-Bissaka back, we need Luke Shaw back, we need to shift Amrabat into the midfield. Rashford needs to get his shooting boots on, really. You see Højlund yesterday look fantastic. I'm excited going forward. All the doom and gloom and the naysayers all in and around Manchester United, I can understand it. If you're desperate for victories, you're desperate for glory, you want to just see wins, and you don't care how we go about getting the wins. I get it. But I trust this man, and I'm looking out there on the manager market, and I don't see other managers out there that provide the options that Ten Hag will and has done. When you consider in the last 10 years, Ten Hag got further with Ajax in the Champions League than we have. And that's a big statement. The fact that you've seen with his Ajax teams, you've seen with his go-ahead Eagle teams, first-time promotion in something like 20 years with go-ahead Eagles. You saw with Utrecht, the highest 2 finishes in the seasons. Look at Ajax now without Erik ten Hag. They're all over the place. They're a shadow of the team. So you've seen him having to deal with Ronaldo. You've seen him having to deal with the Jadon Sancho issue. You've seen him having to deal with the Glazers and all the board mess above him with the ownership and the potential new owners. You've seen with the Maguire captaincy. You've seen with Anthony. You've seen with Mason Greenwood. He's had to deal with all that to take his focus away from the football field. So for me right now, I'm giving the man some slack. I'm giving the man some time. I've got all trust and faith. I could understand if we're playing terribly, we're getting battered. But we didn't get battered by Crystal Palace. We didn't even get battered by Bayern Munich. When I was at the Allianz Arena, I was stood there high up in the tiers in the nosebleed section, and I'm looking down and I'm seeing us dominate for that first 20 minutes. Dominate and control the game. I went to the Brighton game. I see us dominate and control for the first 20 minutes again. No goals being put in the back of the net. The one counter, one opportunity our opposition have. The same with Brighton, the same with Bayern, the same with Crystal Palace. For me, I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at a defensive issue. The man was screaming, crying out for Kim Min-jae in the summer. He went to Bayern. He's screaming for Todibo at Nice. He's screaming for tap sober at Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen are storming it right now in the Bundesliga. You go and have a look at them. He's screaming for these defenders. He gets Johnny Evans. We're still stuck with Harry Maguire. I mean, to be fair, Harry Maguire should probably get in the team right now. You're looking at Victor Lindelof and he's not doing anywhere near enough. And I'd be amazed. You know what? I'd say Ten Hag out. If he plays Victor Lindelof against Brentford this weekend, then I'm Ten Hag out. I'm done. I'm walking away because I'm sick of Lindelof. I don't want to see it anymore. Let's see Johnny back in the team. Johnny Evans, he performed admirably against Burnley, and yeah, I'm waffling anyway. Boys, let us know what you're saying. Why says Ten Hag has to take the blame. The performances have been shocking. Pika says the same people speaking Arteta's praises to date wanted him gone 2 seasons ago. People are too reactionary nowadays. I agree. Pika Chad also said, agreed. I don't think the performances have been terrible per se, but the consistency just isn't there. Why says 6 losses in 10 games is disgusting. It is disgusting, isn't it? It is disgusting. But, you know, we've got a young kid as a striker. We've got an off-form Marcus Rashford. I just don't see another manager coming in and doing better with this team right now. Why says he has to go if we lose against Brentford. He has to go if we lose against Brentford. Wow. Really? Is that where we're at? I hope not. Ronnie says, I think some players are feeling the after effects from last season. You look at Liverpool's season where they got to the final against Real Madrid. They pushed it to the last day. I think it was against Wolves. Final day of the season where Man City were losing 2-0 against Aston Villa, and then they got the comeback and they won the FA Cup, I believe, against Chelsea. They pushed in all competitions that season. I think it was the 21-22 season, and then the season after, which was it last season, 22-23? They had a terrible season. It happens time after time. You know, you see teams struggle when they go really far and really deep into the competitions. You've seen with the amount of injuries we've got, with the Mason Mount injury, Luke Shaw injury, Kobe Mino injury, Aaron Wan-Bissaka injury. You know, you've seen time and time after again the McTominay injury. You know, who else have we had injured? We've had loads of players. Eriksen injured in phases and spells. And you look at a medical staff. A medical staff's the same medical staff that's been there since 2012. Erik ten Hag wanted to bring in his own medical staff. He wanted to bring in his own team to be in there and get the players up to a physical condition that they're able to withstand and kind of deal with the physical requirements and the conditioning that's needed to play under his style and under his system. These players are looking a little bit leggy, but at the same time, I don't think the performances are terrible. It's just the results. We're in one of those phases where nothing's clicking for us right now, and everything that goes against us, we're conceding goals. You know, Let's see what else you boys have got to say. Abdi says, De Zerbi next. I mean, De Zerbi next. You look in the league, gets in the Europa League, does poorly. Who did he just get beat? Just got smashed by Aston Villa 6-1. Unai Emery's magic villains. Do you know what I mean? Smashed him 6-1. Imagine. I mean, you know, that might be on our cards at Anfield this season. I hope not. You know, I'm waiting for the big games. I'm waiting for the big games. Again, I look at Bayern and I felt we performed well against Bayern. It's just our defence at the moment is weak. It's leaking goals. We've got a sieve of a defence. You know, you look at the Brighton game. You look at the Bayern game. You look at the game last night, and I'm looking at Lindelof. I'm looking at Lindelof, and I'm looking at Onana. Peak says Ten Hag is the man backing the real problem of the owners. Everything starts from the top. There's that too. Neil Payne says give Ten Hag a 10-year contract. I agree, Anya. I agree. You know what? We should have given Ollie a 10-year contract, you know. And I was calling for Ollie to. It sounds delusional and old boys, but I thought just give the man a contract, a long enough contract to get it right. Get it wrong until you get it right. The cycle, how it tends to work in football, unless you've got unlimited amounts of money, you know, wealth and already a decent skeleton of a squad to begin with, the cycle works. First season, bit of a bump, new manager. You've seen that with Arteta. You've seen it with Klopp. You've seen it with Pep. I mean, he finished 4th just on points in his first season. And then the second season is always a bit of a kind of a collapse. You saw with Jurgen Klopp, I think, finished 8th after finishing 5th. You saw with Arteta finishing again 8th. I'm getting messages here, boys. We've got breaking news. We've got breaking news. What's going on? We have not got breaking news. I'll take it back. Yeah, you've seen with Klopp, you've seen with Pep, you've seen with Arteta. You're now seeing with De Zerbi. I mean, De Zerbi's, you know, he's had a few rough results of late. And we'll see. You look at, I'll give you an example. Look at Graham Potter at Brighton, yeah? Looked fantastic, looked incredible. Under a proper footballing institution, a footballing setup, a fan as an owner. You saw Graham Potter look fantastic. He looked like a top-tier manager, linked with the England job, linked with Chelsea, obviously got the Chelsea job. Moves to Chelsea, goes to a club in turmoil, a club rocking and kind of in a state of massive upheaval at the moment. Players coming and going, constant transfers in and out. What happened to Graham Potter? The same will happen with De Zerbi. It's more than what's happening on the football field. It's what's happening around the club as well. And that does play a big part. So we need to get it settled. We need to get it fixed. We need to be a little bit more resolved in our intentions and our goals going forward as a football club. And you've seen that's not been the case under the Glazers, unfortunately. And how long is that going to be the case under the Glazers? I hope not too long, but we'll see. Ronnie says, I think Rashi is missing Tyrell and Luke as left back. 100%. I mean, he misses the overlapping runs and the control and basically just the penetrative runs, which create space and opens the defence, because Marcus Rashford right now he's getting two-manned. So the right back's on him, and then the centre back, and even the defensive central midfielder can cover. So he's going up against three men. So he's going to be running down avenues. He's going to be running down dead ends. With an overlapping fullback, with overlapping runs from, say, Bruno or Mason Mount, it draws and drags defenders out and it stretches and opens the play a little bit more. We've not got that from the fullback at the moment because Amrabat's not of that speed, not of that pace, unfortunately. He's looking a little bit clunky. I still love Ollie and I'd take him back in a heartbeat doing anything at United, says bath time. Yeah, what a man. I mean, what a man. But again, the issues were there. I feel like his bad choice, his big mistake was taking on Ronaldo. He should have stuck with the kids. Should have stuck with the kids, stuck with the young lads and tried to push us on forward. Instead, he set us back and that was his own fault. Let's see what else you boys are saying. Abdi says, excuse me, boys. Abdi says, Erik ten Hag wanted his own staff as a myth. In the Spurs job interview, he told them he's only bringing his assistant. They were baffled. Well, that is a lie. I mean, they wanted what was he, Sean Macker, the conditioning coach. I believe that. Yeah, he probably said to try and get the job that he wouldn't have. But what you do with a manager, as you've seen with Pep Guardiola, as you've seen with Klopp, as you've seen with others, you give them all the tools at their disposal, what made them successful previously, to bring to the club and do the same. I mean, that's simple. Bath Time says, get him and Caff on reception as caretakers. Urgy Saint says, like to see Mount on the right wing than Bruno. Yeah, right. Mount on the right wing. Rashford's something I've pushed for a long time on the right hand side, especially with the idea of Højlund in the centre and those ability you saw yesterday, the ability to swing the ball inside off the right foot. Marcus Rashford is a decent passer of the ball. He's decent creatively. Going forward and swinging the ball into the box. So I would be okay with that. And then that allows Garnacho to come in off the left hand side, and it also allows him to switch as well and just create a little bit of confusion with the back line of our oppositions. Why says Mount has been incredible. Mount has looked good. Mount's one of them players that at the start of the season everyone was worried. Everyone was thinking, oh well, is he going to be good enough? His performances were poor, but it was something that we've been saying on the show here that it was clear he was injured. It was clear he was carrying an injury, and then it turned out he was carrying an injury with a hamstring injury. He took his rest, got himself back to fitness, and now you can see his spring, his step. He's there. I keep pushing. He's going to be our Luka Modric. I keep pushing it. 23 years old, Luka Modric is over at Dinamo Zagreb. Mason Mount has done wonderful things. He's great going forward. He's great on the ball. He's great defensively. His tactical acumen, his positional awareness. He's got everything. Mason Mount really has, and he has the ability to progress into that number 8 role in the future. And I believe that with the application, with his hard work, with just essentially him fulfilling his potential, I think we've got a top draw player there. At the moment we just need a little bit of athleticism and a little bit more energy from the midfield in regards to Bruno and Casemiro. I'm not looking at Mason Mount as a problem right now. I want to see Mejbri in the team more, even if that means sitting Bruno for a couple of games. Bruno just looks knackered. Like I was saying earlier, and I was alluding to earlier, he's played more games than any outfield player in Europe last season. It's been a lot. It's been a lot, and the toll you're looking at, it's starting to take a toll. So make sure if you've not already to hit that like button. We appreciate it over here at mufcMPB. I'm Ash Meppers. You can follow me at Twitter X. You can follow our Twitter account as well, mufcMPB. Make sure you're following, you subscribe, all that kind of good stuff to make sure we're smashing up in the algorithm. We've got big things planned here at mufcMPB. We've got me on a Monday, a Saturday, and a Wednesday. And then we've got Anton and Anil filling in between. Make sure you're dropping in and you're saying hello and getting your opinion heard over here on the Twitter. And if you're watching on demand or you're watching live, post in the comments. We've got plans for competitions and all sorts coming up soon. So make sure you're getting involved and get yourself heard. Let's hear what else you boys have got to say. Adam Carver says, "Hi Ash, gone off Man U now." What do you mean, Adam? What do you mean you gone off Man U? What do you mean you got? How does that work? You gone off Man U? You what, mate? If anyone's out there saying you can't say Man U, that's something that really annoyed me, because that's something that Matt Busby used to call us. Do you know what I mean? This idea that we can't say Man U, it's madness. I don't really say Man U, but I know other people do, and I have no issue with it. So we should not be causing any kind of problems with that. Ash, what's going on with the flags and the banners that were ripped down? Heads need to roll for that vandalism. You know what? More than anything, I'm disappointed in the Galatasaray fans. Usually good, classy fans. That disappointed me. That when I go to Galatasaray, it makes me want to do something. I mean, I don't want to get myself in any kind of a situation where my kids could be missing a father. But that's frustrating me. That's got to me. That I don't want to talk about that because it's making my blood boil. That one. That's out of order. That you shouldn't be doing that to your away fans. To your opposition. Do you know what I mean? You should respect your opponents. It is what it is. All right, chanting, cheering, name calling, all that kind of stuff in regards to energy and crowd chants and stuff. Fine, that's fine. You start destroying people's hard-earned work and kind of the stuff that's been there for years and years. It's just a massive disrespect and sad to see, really. Ronnie says, I swear he wanted to bring RVP into the coaching team, but he chose to stay at Netherlands. Yeah, he did. He wanted to bring RVP, and he wanted to bring in Ruud van Nistelrooy. Ruud van Nistelrooy turned him down, and so did RVP. RVP wanted to stay with his family over in the Netherlands. They'd only just settled and moved back there, so he was, both of them. But again, with a decent enough financial offer and a more enticing and exciting proposal of a package, then maybe we get those deals done. But the Glazers, we've still got the same medical staff we've had for 12 years. We've got Darren Fletcher in there. We've got, we had to bring back Steve McLaren. Do you know what I mean? What's going on? Mason Mount is growing on me. I'm impressed. Wait, I've just missed that. Bayinde needs to start Saturday, agree. 20 legend, not surprised Mount was poor in the start as well with playing in a position that he wasn't used to yet. Yeah, I mean, he has played there and going forward, you can see that Mason Mount's going to be an impressive player. He's going to be the man for us. I'm excited to watch more of Mason Mount. No, he shouldn't be dropped. He needs confidence built. You talk about Onana. Sometimes just a little bit of a shake-up, a little bit of a shock. I don't look at Onana, and when I listen to him, I don't believe that he's a player that struggles with confidence and struggles with self-belief. I feel like just a little bit of a shake. Do you remember when David De Gea came into Manchester United, and I think it was the West Brom game, one of his first games, and he was getting battered by like Chris Brunt and was it Craig Dawson at the time, on the corners. He was just getting bruised on the corners. So Alex took him out for a few games. He brought in Anders Lindegaard. And Anders Lindegaard, for a little spell, was looking like he could have nailed down that number one spot himself. But it was always the intention that was told to David De Gea that you are our number one. Right now, just sit it out for a couple of games. Have a watch. Do you know what I mean? You just get yourself settled. Get yourself acclimatized to the club, the city, what's going on, and then we can reintroduce you slowly into the easier games. Go away for your international break, build a bit of confidence, and yeah, Bayinde coming in. Maybe that's what Onana needs. Who knows? Luke says, no, well, I've already read that. Galatasaray fans were unprofessional. I agree. Baftan says, when you go Gala, just get your hair and teeth done and nothing else. I know, mate. Get your hair and teeth done, imagine. That'd be hilarious. Tonight we'll come back from Turkey with new teeth and a slick back. Tony Bravo says, hey Ash, how long would you give Ten Hag before you sack him? I give him the entire season. I'm old school in the way I treat managers. I give him the entire season. I say, you know what? I believe that Ollie should have got the entire season. We brought in Ralph Rangnick a couple of seasons ago, didn't we? And then we absolutely collapsed under him. You know, we had a good, half decent start. I was so excited. I was at the Crystal Palace game on his debut, and I was looking, and the way we were controlling the ball and controlling the possession, I was there with my brother-in-law, and I was excited. It was looking like the future was bright, and then it all started to collapse, didn't it, under Ralph Rangnick? And I'm a guy who gives Erik ten Hag the rest of the season. See the season out. Let's see where you finish. You know, give him all the chance, all the opportunity to do what he does. If he doesn't get us top 6, if he doesn't get us top 5, essentially, which we need top 5. Top 5 gets us back into the Champions League. It keeps us, able to sign the big players. It enables us to, earn the big money. Then if he doesn't get us top 5, then maybe we look to go. It depends on the performance as well. It depends how close we are. It depends on the run of games we have. But I want him to get it right. Mustafa said, bro, you baited the whole of Twitter that day when you said Jazim 2 weeks away. Where did I get that from? I don't believe that was me. I believe that might have been one of the accounts that we retweet on mufcMPB. But yeah, that was Neil Custis, I believe, the Sun. So sometimes we just report what the news that's in and around us. So no one seems to have any idea what's going on there. But we'll keep you in the loop and up to date with what's happening in regard to the takeover and everything going on. Urgy says Inacio or Todibo replacing Maguire and Lindelof. We need both, really, don't we? Inacio, Todibo, Antonio Silva at Benfica, Tapsoba. You want to buy a couple of them. Look at Man City. Man City buy Ake, they buy Akanji, they buy Laporte, they buy Ruben Diaz. They don't mess around, and we don't need to mess around either. We need to start supporting and backing the manager, and getting rid of these players that have just not been good enough, really. Abby says, I'm not defending Onana anymore. Nah, you got to defend Onana. He's our goalkeeper, he's our man between the sticks, but he needs that support, and he needs that backing, and he needs to kind of turn it around, because we can't keep continuing to see this form that he's been showing as of late. This isn't the Onana that we'd bought from Inter Milan. It's not the Onana that we're seeing at Ajax. Maybe sometimes the lights at Old Trafford, they shine bright, and the pressure, is heavy on these kind of players. So got to keep your eye out and maybe see where he's at over the next couple of weeks, and if he's able to kind of manage this pressure. And if not, we've got our kid Bayinde. Maybe David De Gea is waiting in the wings, thinking maybe I can get another shot back at Manchester United. Who knows? There's a question for you, lads. Would you bring in, if you had the opportunity to bring in David De Gea right now, would you bring him back? Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. If you're posting live or you're watching on demand, let us hear in the comment section. Neil Payne says, last season you kicked on after you won 2-1 against us, third game of the season. Yeah, I mean, you look against Man City, against Liverpool. We played exceptionally well against Liverpool, and we beat you. I think it was 2-1, weren't it? And then the Man City game, the Chelsea game, the Arsenal game. We've got a good run of results under Erik ten Hag at home. It's just the away form that's been poor. But then you look to, I hate to compare to other teams, but football is a comparison game. You look at Manchester City last season; they won one more game against the top 6 than we did last season. They won one more game against the top 6. All this, Erik ten Hag's terrible against the top 6, which he's not been great. Let's be honest. But the treble-winning Manchester City 115 charges team won one more game against the top 6 than us. So I'm just saying. Premier League top 8 looks solid. Will be hard. Man United current form to finish above them. I mean, you say that. You look at Newcastle. Newcastle have had a bit of a ropey start to the season. Brighton have had a bit of a ropey start. Who else we got? Spurs. Spurs are going to Spurs it. Let's be honest. Postecoglou's not fooling anybody. Spurs are going to Spurs it at some point. You don't have to worry about Spurs. We'll be all right. At some point, Spurs are going to Spurs it. That's what I'm hoping on anyway. Maddison's knee injuries. Maddison's constantly got knee injuries. He spends half the season on the bench, so he's going to be missing. You go and look throughout. I think he missed 20 odd plus games last season, 26 plus games, I believe, last season. Maddison missed out on. So this season, you'll see again, he'll get injuries. I don't wish it bad and injuries on the man, but you've seen in the past he gets injuries. So Chelsea have been awful. Liverpool, Liverpool have been lucky. I mean, Liverpool, Szoboszlai with a penalty against, was it Bournemouth? Against Wolves, they go 1-0 down for big spells in that game, looking like they could have lost that game. Liverpool aren't too far. I mean, okay, you look at I think they're on 8 and 9, 10 wins in a row, but it's the performances aren't great. That's the difference between us and them. They're not Liverpool, and Liverpool fans will tell you they're not performing great at the moment, but they're playing the kind of the champions role where they're getting the results regardless of the performances, and that's been us. We've been the opposite. We're not getting the results regardless of the performances. And we've been putting some half-decent performances and we've just not been getting the results, unfortunately. Ronnie Dodge says, Chelsea have been awful. Yep. Why says, just give Bayinde a chance. Honestly, who knows? Ronnie says, do you think Mount deserves an England call-up tomorrow? Oh, for sure. I mean, Gareth Southgate loves Mason Mount. You've seen him go far in the World Cup and in the Euros. Played almost all the minutes in the Euros when we got to the final of the Euros at Wembley against Italy. And yeah, I'd be amazed if he didn't get a call up tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Twitter Legend said the positives with Onana not being the best shot stopper exposes how poor our defence and midfield have been. Majority of the goals are caused because of them not marking, tracking, or losing duels. I mean, you look at the Icardi goal yesterday, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. He sits him down, really. You're looking at that and you think there's not. The way he positioned himself in front of the ball, he could only really go over the goalkeeper. So it was bad decision making on Onana's part, and it's something that really he needs to improve. Manchester United have lost 6 out of the 10 games so far this season. What needs to change? Anything that you've spotted, anything that you believe needs to change, let us know in the comments. Let us know if you're watching live or on demand. Whatever your thoughts are, and what would you do to change our fortunes for the next couple of weeks, and especially against Brentford on Saturday. Do we take out Onana? Does Amrabat need to move into the middle? We move Delo on to the left hand side, move Lindelof to a right back, and bring in Johnny Evans or Maguire next to Varane. Do we need to change the front three? What's happening with the midfield? There's lots of opportunities. There's lots of options there for Ten Hag to be had. We just need to put the ball into the back of net, and stop conceding. Football's a simple game. Don't concede and score goals. That's it. Right now, what I'd want Erik Ten Hag to kind of focus on is keeping a clean sheet. I don't remember the last time we kept a clean sheet. Okay, Burnley, in fact, it was. And it was nice. It was nice keeping a clean sheet against Burnley. You saw that defence there with Johnny Evans and was it Lindelof? We need to be doing more of that, and that's the way we should be looking at. MUFC posted on the night last night. Victor Lindelof was absolutely woeful tonight. If he was Harry Maguire, he'd be getting called out by the whole fan base. What's your thoughts on this? Do you believe Victor Lindelof needs to come under more pressure? I mean, the Swedish Iceman has kind of gone under the radar a little bit, and he's not been getting called out like Harry Maguire. Okay, Harry Maguire's a more high-profile £80 million signing, England international captain and former captain of Manchester United, so he will get a lot more attention. But Victor Lindelof, he's been poor, and he needs changing. And honestly, I don't see Victor Lindelof turning his form around. I don't see us him being part of our future, and he's someone that we need to look to be moving on at some point. Abdi says, yeah, Mount wanted to take the free kicks, but Bruno wouldn't allow it. That's something that needs to be resolved in the dressing room, and I'm sure Bruno will step aside, once he feels like he's not capable of being able to do that anymore. Urgy says, no, David, just stay. Became a legend. Don't come back. Just look what happened to Cristiano. So no David De Gea back then. I kind of agree with you, to be honest. We got to move forward. We can't be looking backwards. Let's try Bayinde. I'm sad we let Kovar go. Kovar's smashing it. How we let that kid go? Incredible footballer. So questions and answers need to be had. Like, what is going on? Why we let him go after an exceptional pre-season as well? Looked fantastic against Lyon, and then we just allow him to leave. I'm telling you, that kid is going to go on to be a top 10 goalkeeper in world football. He's 23 years now. Looks absolutely outstanding. He is. Player of the year as well for was it? Oh, I'm getting Lech Poznan. It wasn't Lech Poznan. That's the Polish team. Was it Slavia Prague? Lindelof is a leech, just like the other Deadwood. We need to bin. No wonder why there's no reason why he shouldn't come under more fire. I agree. Abby says, yes, we should have kept Kovar. I agree. I don't rate those type of tweets because I don't know what they really mean with these type of tweets, but Lindelof gets a lot of stick. Maguire gets a lot of unfair abuse just because he is poor. Victor Lindelof was absolutely woeful tonight. If he was Harry Maguire, he'd be getting called out by the whole fan base. I think this is just it's a conversation starter. It's just something to kind of get opinions and see where we're at as a fan base, and it's a simple statement that you know is true. Victor Lindelof was woeful, and you know where is the attention on Victor Lindelof? Sparta Prague. Yeah, I called it. No idea why they signed Bayinde and let Kovar go instead of having Kovar as the second goalkeeper. Madness. Did Rasmus get player of the match yesterday? Oh, you know what, Ronnie? I didn't pay attention to that. Boys, my match vlog is up, by the way, at Ash Meppers. Go watch it. You'll enjoy it. You'll love it. You'll see live footage of Højlund's fantastic one-on-one goal. You'll see me depressed in the stands, and you'll see Galatasaray fans, so make sure you go check it out at Ash Meppers. Rasmus Højlund is an unbelievable talent. His attitude is perfect, and he can hold his head high after tonight. He'll be the future of this club, no doubt about that. I think we're all looking and we're all seeing now that Rasmus, 20 years old, had no pre-season. You know, you see him blossoming yesterday. It's just unfortunate that we couldn't reward him with a win. You know, the defence couldn't hold out and kind of pay a little bit more attention to what's going on in and around them. Poor, again, concentration levels. We score a goal within 5 minutes. We're conceding. We saw that at Bayern Munich. We saw that at Brighton. Well, we didn't see it at Brighton. Brighton just kind of dominated, unfortunately. We saw that against Galatasaray last night, and it's not been good enough. It's really not been good enough. That knee slide after the 1-0, it was beautiful. Rasmus Højlund apologised to fans. There's no need for apologies here from Rasmus. He was absolutely fantastic last night. I'm excited to see more. Do we start playing on the counter-attack to allow him more chances on the break? I mean, he looks fantastic on the break. In and around the box, his touches looked a little bit suspect lately. I mean, I feel like he needs a little bit more delivery, a little bit more service into his feet, kind of in and around the 6-yard box. I think he'll score goals. We've seen that yesterday with Marcus Rashford putting a ball across the goal and Rasmus getting onto the end of it. I want to see him give him more service. I think he's going to go and score goals. His tally's up to 3 so far in the season, 3 in the Champions League. Let's see a couple more on Saturday, eh? Lindelof has been pretty poor the whole season, looks slower than normal, still fairly weak and not looking as good on the ball and has been previously. I agree, 20 legend, just not good enough. Ronnie says, saw the pitch this morning when the players arrived. Rasmus looked depressed and Mount had a face like thunder. It's difficult, innit? Because you don't want them coming in with big smiles and all happy and looking all joyful, do you? So you want them to be frustrated, and I want them to have a little bit of anger on the face, a little bit of annoyance, you know, that Roy Keane scowl, the Rooney scowl, you know, coming into the training, being annoyed that his picture's being taken. You know what I mean? Maybe even flip a middle finger. Do you know what I mean? Imagine if that was to happen. The news articles, it'd be spoken about for the next 7 days. If we set Ten Hag, do you think it should be a norm to also sack the director of football as well, since they oversee recruitment? Also, I just looked up, we still have the same scouts from 2015. I agree. I agree. You know, John Murtough, I think the Glazers, I mean, look how long Ed Woodward lasted. You know, he lasted so many years. So I have no inclination or no belief that the Glazers would ever get rid of John Murtough and Richard Arnold. You know, I just can't see it happening. They look to change the managers first, and hopefully they don't, and they stick by Erik Ten Hag, and they give him all the chance and opportunity to turn it around. He's got a big job on his hands. You know, you've seen again with Arteta, with Klopp, with other managers in the past. You know, sometimes it takes a couple of seasons to try and turn it around and get it right. Where am I going here? Why is this all wrong? Should Andre Onana be dropped from the lineup against Brentford? We've already discussed that. We've already spoken about that. I don't want to see. I don't want to see players dropped and kind of punished. But sometimes just a little bit of a spell on the sideline, you know, just out of action can kind of help and get a player to readjust and reevaluate what they're doing and what they're doing wrong. I'd also look to our goalkeeping coaches. I believe we've had the same goalkeeping coach now for a few years. So again, a situation where have we got staff there that are motivated, that are excited, that are kind of fresh And does it need freshening up in behind the scenes at Old Trafford? Ronnie Dodge says, you think Mace could be Beckham 2.0? No. Ronnie, only because Beckham, I mean, okay, Beckham played a little bit in the middle, but Beckham's right foot was incredible. You know, he had a wonder of a right foot. You know, not many better. I don't think there's someone better in the history of world football to deliver a ball off his right foot, off that right hand side. And Mason Mount plays a different position. So yeah, no, I can't really see it, to be honest. Where is mine? Give me a moment, boys. Let me get this back up. mufcMPB. Where are we? mufcMPB. What's going on? There we go. Right, I thought I had the news built in, so we'll do it this way today. We had Erik ten Hag. Manchester United are planning to sell Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay in January. I don't think we have any issues with this. I don't think anyone disputes and kind of wants to see McTominay and Maguire stay at the club. I think they've had the chance to prove what they can offer Manchester United, and unfortunately, it's not been good enough. Harry Maguire is in a lucky position now where Lindelof's been playing really poorly, so you should be getting himself back into the starting lineup. What Ten Hag's doing in regard to playing Lindelof over Maguire lately, when Lindelof's had a few poor performances, maybe that's an issue where he doesn't want to risk injury for being able to sell him. He doesn't want to make him lose value. Right now, his value and his stock's only on the way up, only on the rise, because people are looking and thinking, well, actually, was it Harry Maguire's fault over the past couple of months, past year or so? The reason why United have been so poor defensively? Play Football Manager and see Manchester United have 36 scouts. What is this? We've got scouts all over the world. Yeah, we should have plenty of scouts. I have no issue with this. Yesterday, Manchester United are investigating how at least 1,000 tickets in the home end of the game against Galatasaray fell into the hands of away fans. I was surrounded by Galatasaray fans yesterday in the south stand. I was sat not too far away from there. In fact, I was opposite. That's the north, looking at the number in the stands. And there was a clear tourist taking a picture with a scarf. And he was, the man who took the picture, he asked to take the picture, said to him, turn the scarf the other way around. And it had Manchester United, basically, I'm going on here, but he had a Manchester United scarf. He was holding it the correct way. The guy taking the photo said, turn it upside down. And I'm watching this, and the moment that happened, I had to jump up. I'm like, yeah, mate. What's going on? I won't use vulgar language on the stream here, but I was using a lot of profanity at the time, and I couldn't believe it. I point out to the steward myself that this guy's a Galatasaray fan. Do you know what I mean? A few other fans started saying the same things, chanting. Stewards did nothing about it. Did absolutely nothing about it. I'd never seen that before at Old Trafford. Glazer ownership, not much more can be said. I mean, how they got hold of the tickets, how they've been allowed into the stadium, and okay, you can understand the odd one or two, but they were clearly Galatasaray fans wearing Galatasaray shirts that have been allowed through the turnstiles, been allowed through security. Security in the instant should be looking and going, you're wearing a Gala shirt, you're not allowed in. If they say, well, I've got a ticket, doesn't matter, you've got a Galatasaray shirt on. You're supposed to be in the away fans. For the security of the home fans and for the security of themselves, those people coming into the stadium, because who knows what kind of fights and riots can ensue from coming into the stadium when you're not a fan of the home team. And it's disgraceful, really. And we've got to see an investigation, and something needs to be done about it. I'm devastated to see it as a Manchester United fan. I just don't want to see it. David De Gea posted yesterday on Instagram after the game, looking happy and enjoying life. What else have we got here today? I'll tie by in there. Oh, Paul Mitchell has been considered by Sir Jim Ratcliffe if he is successful in his bid for Manchester United. I don't want to see Paul Mitchell or Sir Jim Ratcliffe in at Manchester United. I mean, I'll take Paul Mitchell, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe, wanting a 25% ownership. Yeah, it's not good enough, really. We don't want the Glazers to stay. We've seen what's happened under their ownership over the last 10, 12 years, and we need to be looking to move them on. just not good enough. And also new, according to Fabrizio Romano, Jadon Sancho leaving Manchester United January is being discussed internally. I would love to see it resolved. I'd love to kind of see Jadon get back to the form that he saw at Dortmund. Can I see it happening though? Is it a reality? Is it realistic? I very much doubt it. How we go about shifting him off the wage bill, he's on 350 grand a week. We're going to have to subsidise, if not all of that, or take a hit on the transfer fee just to get him gone. What's he worth in today's market? A top on form Jadon Sancho is easily 70, 80 million. This Jadon Sancho that we've got in the guys right now, he's worth what, 20 million, 25, 40 max, when you consider his, the wages that he's on and the amount that a team would have to pay. So it's a difficult situation we're in. Again, just bad scouting, bad preparation by our sporting director. We knew these issues that he had at Manchester City. We knew the issues that he had at Dortmund, in turning up late to training. He got fined a couple of times, playing on the PlayStation 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. We saw Gareth Southgate even speak on why he's not been included in the teams because of his poor training. This is something that we should have been aware of, and really at that moment, in that instance, when you see that, you walk away from the deal. You don't want players who are lacking motivation and not willing to fight for the shirt. You want players like we've seen from our young Hannibal Medjbury over the last couple of games. That heart, that passion, that desire, that will, the tenacity, the fight. Everything that's needed to wear a Manchester United shirt. I've got to be honest. I've not seen fight from a player like we've seen from Medjbury the last couple of games, like we've seen since we had Wayne Rooney. I want to see more willingness and more fight and desire. You see from the Manchester City boys, you see from Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool teams. It's all about that passion, that fight and desire. And unfortunately, we've not got that at the moment at Manchester United. You see Marcus Rashford strolling around. You see, Bruno covers every inch of the football field. I have no issue with Bruno, but you see others in and around the first team, and it's just not good enough. It really isn't. Not as a Manchester United player. And who does that sit with? Does that sit with the manager? Is that the manager's fault for being able to struggling? Not be able to motivate these players. At the end of the day, it shouldn't be up to the manager to motivate these players. These players, as Roy Keane has said in the past, and as other top professionals said in the past, it should never be up to a manager to motivate a player. Motivation should always lie within yourself. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That's the bare minimum. That sets the floor is hard work. That's all that's required is graft. You're getting paid huge amounts of money. You look at people in society, struggling and going through financial crises, and you're there on getting paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week to play football, to kick a football around, to stay fit, to stay healthy, to be supported, to be cheered like gladiators in an arena, in the theatre of dreams. You're getting your name sung, chanted, cheered. People are wearing your shirt outside. You walk outside the stadium, you see on the back of people's shirts, Jadon Sancho. You go into the stadium, you hear people chant your name. You hear everyone saying, come on, chanting, wishing you well, wanting you, and you can't show up. You can't put a shift in. You can't work hard. There's got to be a bigger issue there. But the fact is, we should have seen it. We should have highlighted. We should have pointed out, and it should have never got to this stage. It's poor. And I believe that Erik ten Hag's future with Jadon Sancho is no more. We will not see him back in the Manchester United team, and that can only be down to Jadon Sancho himself. Where he goes from here, I have no idea. But he's been given every opportunity. Imagine if Højlund gets a hat-trick last night. Oh, it would have been beautiful, wouldn't it? Anil, if you've not seen Anil's latest video, go check that out on mufcMPB. Rasmus arriving in training today, looking a little bit frustrated, forlorn. You can understand he scored 2 goals yesterday and we got the loss. Why wouldn't you be frustrated? This is us here right now. If you're not watching, make sure you drop a like, subscribe so you can stay tuned and make sure you catch all the streams live, all the shows live. Every day from 7 p.m. If not me, you'll see Anil Kandola or Anton Brooks bringing you all the latest Manchester United news. What else have we got for you here, boys? Does Mason Mount deserve an England call-up tomorrow? I believe so. He's been fantastic in the last couple of games for us. Would you rather see him get a call-up to the match day squad, or would you look at it and think, okay, so he's okay having a little bit of rest and kind of taking a couple of weeks off. I'd be okay with him taking a couple of weeks off. I don't think he needs to start. I don't think he needs to play. Focus on his Manchester United career, get us back on track, get us back into a situation where we are winning and we are getting the results that the club and the fans deserve. Ronnie says, yes, definitely, just don't get injured, Mace. That's what all I'm worrying about, to be honest, Ronnie. I'm looking at him thinking, I don't want him to get injured. Sources close to Erik ten Hag say he doesn't feel he can be as harsh in his criticism of the players as he'd like because there are concerns about the mental fragility of the squad. That's something we've struggled with for the last couple of years, and he really needs to be harsh and tough, It's his job at the end of the day on the line, so, where he goes from here, what he does to change it, I'm not too sure. Erik ten Hag has raised the issue of having the right body language when setbacks happen in games, and he's increasingly frustrated that his message isn't getting through to particular members of his squad, according to Rob Dawson at ESPN. I imagine that's Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. You saw taking Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford out of the team against Crystal Palace in the League Cup, in the Carabao Cup. We looked fresh. We looked exciting. We looked willing. We looked like we had passion, desire, tenacity, fight, drive. We had all those things. And then we bring them back into the Crystal Palace game in the league, and okay, we dominated possession. Okay, we looked like we had enough chances there to go and win the game, but it didn't look like we had the same kind of energy and drive that we did with the young lads in the team. And that's what Manchester United's always been built off, built on the youth, built on the foundation of exciting young players. And really, Rashford and Bruno, they need to take a look at themselves, and they're having a poor season so far, and when they have a poor season, we have a poor season. What needs to be remedied, how we get them firing again, I'm not too sure. I really don't know. Despite tight FFP restrictions, there are already suggestions Erik ten Hag will push to sign a new centre-back in January. We need to sign a new centre-back. Lindelof's not good enough, Maguire's not good enough, Johnny Evans, he's a bit part player, Varane's constantly injured. We've seen that Lisandro Martinez has had to play through a metatarsal injury, so we're desperate for numbers there. We're desperate for players. We're desperate for talent, for quality at that centre-back position. It's just not been good enough where we're at right now. So Bruno and Marcus' confidence is shot, so it drags the rest down. I agree. Sky says, pre-Erik ten Hag players really struggling in this plan A. Now we play different from the back, if that makes sense. Pre-Erik ten Hag players really struggling in this plan A now that we play different from the back. You know what though, Sky? You look at it, and I don't think we're playing poorly. I think defensively is where the issue is. It's conceding goals from single chances. You look at the Bayern game, a few games. Well, I mean, you even go back to the Spurs game. It was like one or two chances and Spurs score. And then Brighton, we dominated for the first 20 minutes. It looked like we should have scored a goal or two in those first 20 minutes. We do score a goal or two, and who knows how that game ends up. The first attack they have down that right-hand side with a Dringa goal into Danny Welbeck goal. You look at the Bayern Munich game, dominant. That first 20 half, in that first 20 minutes, in that first half, we were all watching that Bayern Munich game going, wow, we're looking good here. We were on the front foot. We were pressing Bayern. They were penned in. It was looking like we should have gone on to win that game. First attack, sloppy mistake from Onana, shot from Sane, goal. And then a confidence is shot, and we struggle to get back into any kind of form until half time came around. Erik ten Hag had a word with his players. We came out in the second half, got ourselves a goal. Again, switched off, lacking concentration. Within 5 minutes, we concede. And again, confidence shot. Same thing last night. We score a goal, we switch off, and then a confidence gets shot when we concede the goal. And it takes us 10, 15 minutes to get back into the rhythm of things. It's poor. It's the same thing over and over again. But are we playing poorly? I don't think it's a tactics issue. I don't think it's an issue where we're not creating chances, because we are creating chances, or at least we are getting into the final third. It's just a situation where the defence has been poor, the defence has been weak. Boys, this has been me, Ash Meppers. You can follow me at X Twitter, at Ash Meppers. I've got my match day vlog from Galatasaray last night up on the channel. Make sure you go check that out. You can see that on my Twitter. It'd be nice if mufcMPB could tweet that out, but we'll see about that. Follow us over on Twitter and X, at mufcMPB for all the latest Manchester United news. Make sure you subscribed and liked the video if you've liked it. If you've liked it, even if you've not liked it, just give it a like. It doesn't hurt anybody. There's a little button around there. Give it a press, give it a bash, give it a smash. Imagine scoring a goal. Imagine your Haaland got through on goal there. Bam, give it a kick. Do you know what I mean? Boom, like button, press, done. There we go. Beautiful. Thank you very much for your time this evening. I will be back on Saturday. Tomorrow we've got Anton in. Make sure you come over and visit. If not, I will see you boys over again on Saturday. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you very much for your input. Make sure you share, you like, you show all your friends, all that kind of good stuff. Hope you have a good evening and enjoy the Champions League football and see Newcastle get smashed. Unless you're one of them weirdos who wants English teams to do well in the Champions League, which I'm not even getting involved with you there. But thank you very much for your input tonight. Ronnie Dodge, Urjeet, Sosa, Scatty, Pika, Twetty Legend, and the rest of you boys, absolute legends. I will see you on the next show. Before I go, let me just have a quick read. See you, Ash. Going to watch the Champions League match to treat this depression. Oh, drink some water, go for a walk. I feel yesterday's game would have been perfect for Aaron Wan-Bissaka if he wasn't injured. I agreed, Ronnie. Garnacho's son has been born. Hey, congratulations, mini Garnacho. Let's go. Bad mentality, bad tactics, says Sosa, world peace. I agree. I don't know about bad tactics, but we'll see about it. Take care, boys. I love you. Bye-bye. United, United, United.